5 people dive in a cave filled with ice and cold water. These 5 people have no idea that this is going to be their last cave diving, because there is going to be an incident with them that is going to take them straight to death. The GoPro camera on their head is recording every movement of them. This cave diving incident is one of the most dangerous and heartbreaking incidents in history, and welcome you to this video. 6th February 2014. 5 people plan to do the most dangerous and challenging cave diving in the world. For this adventure, they chose a dangerous cave in Norway, Plura Grota. Plura Cave was already infamous, because there had already been some incidents in Plura Cave in which people had to lose their lives. But despite this, these 5 people chose this dangerous cave for cave diving. Look at the map of this cave, in which there are 2 entrances to enter this cave. The most dangerous part of this cave is this one, which is about 430 feet deep from the surface. And this is the largest cave in Northern Europe, which is filled with water. And this cave is 3 kilometers long. You assume that it is impossible for an ordinary person to enter this cave. But still, these 5 people chose this cave. The reason for this is that these 5 people were certified cave divers, who had gone to such dangerous caves before, and 2 of these 5 people had gone to this cave before. Last time, these 2 people entered through this way of the cave and came out of this way by exploring the cave. Because of this, they were more confident to enter this cave. But this time, something was going to happen, which no one had imagined. These 5 brave people going to the cave are Patrick, Kai, Vesa, Jari H, and Jari U. And Patrick and Kai are the people who had gone to this cave before. So these 2 people were going to lead this mission. But this time, instead of entering through this way of the cave to make this adventure more challenging, the people of Flora Lake decided to take the entry from this way and leave from here. These 5 people had come with full preparation to do this adventure. If everything was going according to the plan, then they could have completed this whole cave exploring in just 5 hours. They made 2 teams to go to this cave. Patrick and Jari H were in the first team, and Kai, Vesa, and Jari U were in the second team. Now that Patrick and Kai had come to this cave before, so Patrick was leading the first team, and Kai was leading the second team. The plan was that the first team would go inside the cave, and the second team would enter the cave after 2 hours. Actually, the second team would go inside the cave after 2 hours, because when the first team will enter the cave, then the water will get dirty due to the turbulence in the water. So the water needs at least 2 hours to clean again. Then the second team could enter the water. This mission is started. The temperature was -3 degrees Celsius. These 5 people reached Flora Lake. The cold was so much that a thick layer of ice had formed on the lake. To enter Flora Cave, they had to break this thick ice first. Patrick used a chainsaw to cut the ice into a triangular shape, under which the water was very cold and crystal clear. Patrick and Jari H both entered the lake and slowly entered Flora Cave. They started their underwater scooter so that they can enjoy this adventure by spending less energy. Their start is fine, but they do not know that everything is going to change in a short time. I will tell you that Patrick, with whom such incidents had happened twice before, in which the situation became such that he had to lose the lives of his crew members twice. Due to those incidents, Patrick was also pushed a lot. But Patrick, forgetting those incidents of the past, is moving forward on this new journey today. How dangerous this adventure was going to be, these people also knew it well. To complete this adventure, all these advanced technology gears were brought with them, and they were using a closed-circuit gear to breathe, which is called a rebreather. As you know that when we breathe, we inhale oxygen gas, and when we breathe, we exhale carbon dioxide gas. And a rebreather is a technology in which this exhaled carbon dioxide gas is filtered, and it is converted into oxygen, and divers can use that oxygen again. The advantage of this rebreather technology is that divers do not have to take the extra oxygen cylinder with them, and divers can dive in water for a long time, no matter how advanced the technology is, but sometimes it also malfunctions. Because of this, these 2 people were carrying an extra rebreather in an open-circuit gas cylinder with them for backup. The rebreather technology is like 2 sides of a coin. If divers start breathing quickly, then the rebreather filter will not work properly, and it will not be able to filter carbon dioxide quickly, because of which the diver will start inhaling the same carbon dioxide again, which will have a lot of side effects on the body, like the blood of carbon dioxide starts getting dizzy. There is confusion. And in the end, death also happens. This situation is called hypercapnia. Patrick and Jerry H. were slowly going into the depth of the cave, and they dive from the slope and enter this 250-meter-long air chamber. So far, their journey has been fine, but now they were going to enter the most dangerous part of this cave, and this was the deepest part of this cave. There was also a lot of water pressure in this depth of the cave. Gradually, these two divers had entered the deepest part of the cave. In this depth, they closed their underwater scooter because they wanted to see the beauty of the cave at this place. So far, everything was going according to the plan. Now these two had to get out of this depth of the cave, for which they had to go up through this steep road, which was almost at an angle of 90 degrees. Patrick was walking ahead, so he crossed this 90-degree section and started going up. Jerry H. had to follow him. Patrick comes up a little and waits for Jerry to follow him, but then he sees that the light on Jerry's head is moving fast here and there. It seemed as if Jerry wanted to call Patrick to him. Patrick comes close to Jerry H. and sees that Jerry is completely panicked, because of which he is breathing fast. Patrick sees why Jerry is so excited. Then Patrick sees that Jerry's scooter cable is stuck between two stones, and Jerry is trying to get that cable out again and again. Because of this panic, Jerry was breathing so fast that his rebreather's filter was not able to filter carbon dioxide properly. Because of this, Jerry asks Patrick for a backup oxygen cylinder. Patrick helps Jerry and also gives it to his rebreather. Slowly, the situation was getting a little under control. Then Jerry switches to his own rebreather, but suddenly his rebreather falls down from Jerry's hand, because of which Jerry inhales the cold water of the cave with his breath in panic, and Jerry starts shivering. Patrick understands that Jerry can't escape now, and Patrick now takes an emotionally challenging decision and leaves Jerry H. there and moves on. But now the problem was that he spends a lot of time handling this situation in such a depth, because of which Patrick's risk of decompression sickness was increasing. Actually, when a diver dives as deep into the water as possible, because of the pressure, his body tissues absorb more and more gas, and the longer he stays in that depth. So his body tissues will absorb as much gas as possible. Now because Patrick had stayed in such depth for so long. So when he saw his dive computer, so he was telling that Patrick has to get out of the water slowly to avoid decompression sickness, and now he has to dive in this cold water for another 400 minutes. Patrick could not believe this warning on the screen of the dive computer, because just before this incident, the dive computer was showing only 120 minutes. And all this was happening at a depth of 430 feet, and 2 hours had passed by. The second team, who was just outside, he had no idea what was going on inside the cave. After 2 hours, these three people of the second team also dive in the Plura cave, and it would have taken them less than an hour that they reached the deepest part of the cave. The three slowly crossed the deepest area of the cave. They reach the 90-degree turn. Then they hear a beep sound, which was coming from the equipment of Jerry Edge. In these three divers, Vesa was going first. Kai was in the middle of both the back and harrowing. Vesa sees the body of Jerry Edge, which was dead. Here the problem was that due to Jerry Edge, that thin part of the cave was blocked. And as I just told you, the longer they stay in the depth of the cave, the more the risk of decompression sickness will increase for them. Due to the delay in such a depth, the condition of these three was getting worse, and in such a depth, the equipment of Jerry fails. Its rebreather was not working properly. Harrowing tries to breathe through the backup oxygen cylinder, but there was so much pressure in the depth of the cave that Jerry could not handle this pressure, and in the depth of the cave, he breaks his breath. Now the situation was such that the body of Jerry Edge was blocking the way. Behind him, Vesa was trying to handle this situation. Behind Vesa was the body of Jerry, which had blocked the deepest part of the cave, and behind it was Kai. Kai had understood that some big incident had happened in the cave. So because of this, Kai decides that he will not go ahead and go back, and Kai starts going back. Now the problem was that Kai had a lot of oxygen shortage, and Kai's diving computer was giving warning of decompression stops. Now the situation was such that if Kai wants to avoid decompression sickness, then he will have to slowly get out of this cave, but he does not have enough oxygen supply. so he will be killed by lack of oxygen. So Kai decided that he will take the risk of decompression sickness and will try to get out of this cave as soon as possible. On the other hand, Visa somehow moves forward by removing the body of Jari Edge. Here Kai had moved so fast that he had skipped many of his decompression stops, and he had reached the air chamber. First, Kai thinks that he should stop here and wait for the rescue team, but there was very little hope of rescuing at this place. Now the situation was such that Patrick, Visa, and Kai, all three wanted to get out of this cave, but all three had no idea that who has been killed in this accident and who is left. Patrick was slowly moving forward while keeping in mind the decompression sickness, but Kai and Vesa were moving very fast. Then Patrick sees the light coming from behind him. Actually, Vesa had run so fast that it had reached near Patrick. Vesa and Patrick come out of the other side of the cave. They thought that Jari Edge, Jari Yu, and Kai, all three of them have been killed in this cave. But on the other side, Kai comes out of the cave and reaches the place from where he cut the ice and took entry in this cave. But the temperature was so low that by the time Kai returned here, by then the ice had frozen there again. Kai somehow breaks the ice and comes out of that lake. But Kai still did not know whether anyone was left alive in this accident or not. Kai felt that he was the only one left alive in this accident. Kai comes near his car and starts the engine of the car and starts resting in it. Actually, Kai had dived in that cold water continuously for 11.5 hours. That's why Kai was completely tired physically and mentally. After a few hours, Visa and Patrick also come near the car, so they see that the headlamps of the car are on, which means that Kai has also survived in this accident. The news of this incident starts getting viral gradually. All three of them go into depression after this incident. Local authorities also ran a rescue mission to remove the bodies of Jari Edge and Jari Yu, but their bodies were so deep in the cave that they could not be brought back. So the officials decided that now their bodies should be buried there, and they sealed the entire cave and banned anyone from going there. But Patrick, Kai, and Visa wanted to remove the bodies of their friends, so they ran an unofficial rescue mission with the help of some professional divers and brought the bodies of their friends out. Friends, let me tell you that such a heartbreaking incident happened in Natapati's cave. When a person named John Johns gets stuck in the dead end of the cave due to a small mistake, and he gets stuck in it until he dies, which could never be rescued. Natapati's incident really kills the soul. You can see this heartbreaking incident of Natapati on this screen in this video.